Hi, my name is Ray Naylor, and this is The Performing Songwriter. My guest today is Mark Brine. He actually started his musical career at age 13. Now, he has toured in Europe and all around the United States. He had also been a staff writer in Nashville. When he was young, he played in a rock and roll band, but he left that to play folk music up in the New England area. That was in the late 60s and early 70s. He became increasingly interested in traditional country music of artists such as Jimmie Rodgers and Hank Williams. And he's continued this musical style ever since. He has quite a number of recordings, and many of them have won awards over the years. And he was inducted into America's Old Time Country Music Hall of Fame in 2004. I'll be right back, and we'll talk to Mark Brine, and we'll hear some of his music. Mark Brine. Mark, how you doing?
Good. Thank you, Ray. Thanks for having me with you.
Thanks for coming. You were in Boston, came down here, and then you're going home to Maryland, right?
Yes, yeah. That's the itinerary, or whatever they say.
And you were telling me earlier that you spent about 3/4 of your life in the South.
Yes, I did. I grew up in Cambridge, and I was there till about 25 years old. And then I moved to Nashville and lived there. And in between, I moved into Baltimore to raise a son. And really because I kind of got tired of the deals that I was getting in Nashville. The direction they were trying to take me in, And then I moved, when I moved here, I met, within a year, when I moved to Maryland, I was working out of New York with Tom Pomposello, which we had a lot of good luck. I had a lot of good opportunities at that time. And, I moved back south to Tennessee, but I didn't, just because I miss Tennessee, more than anything, I mean, the kind of music they're making in Nashville, I didn't really have much plans for myself in it,
Right.
But Maryland is the South.
Right.
So, I mean, I guess, and, it's a different kind of groove, obviously. I mean, because it's closer to, the Dixon line or whatever you say, but, but it's still kind of got that, that whole southern thing going.
Now, I mentioned in the introduction you have quite a number of records, and here's two of them. And I wanted you to talk a little bit about. I know that you received some recognition from these records. So
yeah. Well, the Folkabilly one is with some bluegrass type pickers that I work with, and and that was awarded in 2013 for the top folk/grass album of the year. And the newest one is a solo project with 21 recordings on it.
And that's called All Alone in Blue.
All Alone in Blue, and that one there is going to get an award in September for the old time blues category for the year. Yeah.
Now, each show we have a topic on songwriting and a topic on performing. And I haven't told you what those questions are going to be, but I'm going to do that now.
Good. I like surprises.
Now, I guess at this time, in terms of the genre that they would call your music, I'm sure it's changed over the years, would be, I guess, Americana. Would that be accurate, pretty much?
I guess so. Being from where I'm from originally and everything, and growing up in that, I mean, to me, it was all folk music. I mean, I view it as that, And I mean, even when Hank Williams was interviewed, he called it folk music.
Did he?
And yeah, I mean, you know, so as a boy, when I first heard Hank, you know, my uncle was a big fan of his, and I became an extremely big fan. As the first, I don't want to say idol, because I don't like idolizing anything, but he was really my first hero in life. And I'll tell you, the first picture I saw of him, he had a Bing Crosby hat on with a scarf.
Oh, really?
You know, and that, to me, I didn't really, you know, I mean, I grew up to find out that there's regional music and everything, but back then, I mean, I just thought it was pop music or folk, you know, whatever you say. You know, I didn't really think of it like that. But, so, you know, I think it's, I just see it as like folk music. I think the difference would be what is commercially acceptable and whatever you want to call commercialized music, and then there's the people's music, which is the folk music, which is what people do and actually do. And I mean, because a lot of that other commercial stuff is basically a lot of overproduction. You know, but it's fine, but that's what they do.
Well, what I wanted to ask you, especially since I guess years ago you were in Nashville as a staff writer.
Yes.
What is it in terms of the songwriting process or how you wrote the songs? Was there a difference between that kind of songwriting and then the songwriting really that you do now?
Yes, there is. And because the objective there is to get something that somebody else will sing, you know, obviously. And sometimes you don't write exactly what you would record yourself, but you're just trying to get a cut, you know, and get somebody else to sing it. So and there is a craft to that. Now, so don't get me wrong. There's a paint by numbers system. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
you go here and you do this, and the first couple lines have to lead. You know, and if it don't catch on the first, you know, there's a whole process there. And I did learn that by being there and being involved. You know, and then there's the kind of songs you write just for yourself, or you know, like or with a creative sense. You know, where you are talking about your own life and whatever. I mean, I tried to put my own life in everything because to me, it personalizes them, you know. And I don't think that like Hank Williams or any of those guys, you know, that wrote. Then we were talking about Hank, but you know, obviously his life was in there, but he knew he knew the craft. I think you know, I guess what it boils down to is I think everybody should know the craft. But then it's kind of like, you know, like anybody that studies, you know, like, I mean, I'm sure Mozart or any of them, they learned the craft, you know, they learn it and study it, and then they make it their own, you know, and you go beyond that. And I think what happens is that in the commercial sense, it's really hard to do that, at least anymore. You know, there's no, I mean, unless you got a really good producer that really knows how to develop you and really sees what you're doing, you know, and that's like a marriage. That's like finding the right woman, you know, and we all know how difficult that is. But you know, so that's kind of like what I think what it's all about. But I think knowing the craft is important. I mean, you know, I hear a lot of songs nowadays that people write stuff, and you know, I mean, of course, Bob Dylan brought in the abstract thing. So, you know, but even Dylan with the abstract, there's a vision going on. I mean, you know, and I think a lot of people have just taken the abstract, and there's no real continuity. I mean, it's just a blending of words, you know.
Did how about why am I blanking? Woody Guthrie. Did anyway his music influence you? You know, I always admired Woody. I really did. I can't listen to a whole album with him singing. I mean, it's not. I know what you mean. Yeah. Yeah. You know, I as a writer and as a thing, I mean, you got to admire his craft. I mean, anybody with any kind of sense. But most of his recordings, to me, when I'm listening to him, well, he's very monotone, which is which is fine. But you know, it gets a little boring. But he tends to. You can tell he's reading. He's looking at the lyrics, you know, and I mean, you know, and that, I mean, if you're a writer, you know that.
but most people don't.
Right.
So the general audiences, they hear it, whatever. I have a hard time with it, but I do admire him greatly for his writing and his realness.
Have you ever met Ramblin' Jack Elliott?
No, I haven't.
Because he was.
Never had.
Woody was kind of his.
Yeah, I know.
Whatever, father or something.
I have a friend that's really loves him a lot, and discussed a lot of the stories about him and stuff with him. I think I love. There's a great film that I always point out because I love that Ronnie Gilbert.
Yeah.
There's an interview that's in Biograph. I think it's called Biograph. There's an English version of Woody's life, and they interviewed all these people. And I just love what Ronnie said. She said, I knew I had to respect him, but I was scared to death of him. He was the real deal. She said, here we are pretending we're hillbillies and doing this stuff, and along comes this guy, and she said, but I was scared of him, because he drank, and he was the real deal, and that's what, I think that's what I admire most in an artist is whether they're real. They don't have to be, but I like that. That's what I look for.
We're going to hear a couple of your songs now, and while we set you up, we flip-flopped two shows. This show was going to be a guy from Jersey, Norman Taylor, but we had to switch it up, and so we're going to show a video. I showed last time a little bit of him performing, and he does the blues, and which you also do.
Oh, I love the blues.
So here's a video of Norman Taylor, who will be my guest in about 2 weeks, and then Mark will sing his first two songs.
Demons behind me, my life is on the mend. Ain't gonna follow that road again. 'Cause these seasons will last forever if I follow that path to the end. Yeah, I'm walking in the wind. Troubles beneath me, I'm sailing down the lane. No more lonely pain. 'Cause these seasons will last forever.
Well, here's a few songs from my latest CD. It's a solo project called All Alone in Blue. And here's a couple from that. It's a dark day out there, baby, take a look. It's raining like cats and dogs. Hey, let's not spend all day just trying to dodge in and out of them wet raindrops. Yeah, it's H2O day. It's gonna stay that way. We might as well settle on in and make the best. Try not to get wet till miss the sun. Folks head out again. Yes, it makes you want to yawn. Lay up all day long. Ain't a whole lot you can do. Baby, pass me my guitar. Let me write a little tune. All about these duck day blues. Woo, yeah. Yes, it makes you want to yawn. Lay up all day long. I believe I know what we could do. First, baby, come here close to me and let me sing you this song I wrote now. Believe I'm gonna call it the Duck Day Blues. And And now that it's all done, baby, let's go have some fun. Love away the duck day blues, the duck day blues. Now there's folks that's gonna tell you that it's easy, that love's a game of simple give and take. But I ain't ever known it to be like that, 'cause I've seen the many hearts that love can break. Yes, easy come and easy go romantics, never sticking with the hard times sure to come. And before you know it, another heart's been shattered, and the pieces cut like glass when it's all done. 'Cause love is a game, but the stakes are high. You lose big, and it hurts inside. Like Russian roulette, it can take your life. Love is a game, but you gotta play it right. Ooh, yeah. So take this word of warning, if you will, and never jump in without knowing from the start that the water might be deeper than you can handle. So beware and keep a good eye on your heart. 'Cause love is a game, but the stakes are high. You lose big, and it hurts inside. Like Russian roulette, it can take your life. Love is a game, but you gotta play it right. Yes, you do. Woo-hoo.
Okay, well, those are, I really like those songs.
Thank you so much.
And we're going to hear two more from you.
Cool.
But we have a performing topic. Now, I'm guessing you've played for all kind of audiences.
Yes, I do.
And you've all, not just in the United States, but also in Europe.
Yes.
So, have you found differences between audiences? And my real question is, if so, do you modify or change in any way your performance or your performance style depending on the audience?
Well, like in I mean, because like if I play like a folk room, they're listening to every note you're doing. Then if I'm playing at a tavern where they're yelling and screaming, I guess I wouldn't focus on those kind of songs because they're introspect type songs. They have to really focus, So but I don't never really have a plan, when I do any of it. I mean, I just kind of go by the groove, the feel, the room, and the people, and what I think they'll relate to. That's about it, I mean, I don't know. There was a time, like, I think probably for a lot of artists where you think to yourself, they all should stop and listen. because I'm singing now, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know.
Right.
But as you get older, you realize, you know, that even when you go out, you don't always sit and listen to the entertainer.
Right.
Doesn't mean you're being rude. You might just like catch part of it, you know. So I respect that with people. I mean, you have to respect your audience too. You know, they're not all there to, you know, drool over you. You know, you know?
Right.
I mean, that's so each situation is different. And I just go by that. I don't take offense to it. If they don't want to listen, that's fine. Let them talk or whatever they want to do. But if they are listening, then I'm going to focus on stuff that really would, you know, showcase what I'm trying to do. Yeah.
If you can think back, can you think of a couple performances that you just remember that were very memorable in your career?
The Grand Ole Opry.
Oh yeah, talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, that was well, you know, I went there and I kept praying on the way there that I wouldn't make a fool of myself, you know, whatever. And sure enough, the song I did had a steel guitar come in and play this intro, but then it stops, and I had to do the whole first verse alone with just the guitar. And, I thought, you know, I'd be terrified. And the bass player from Hank Snow's band, he kept on saying to me, now there's 8 million listening. He kept on coming around. Now there's 12 million, you know. And he was just trying to pick at me, you know. But when I got out there, I got to be honest with you, you know, I just felt so at home. You know, like I felt like I didn't really care. I don't know how to say that. It just kind of, maybe it's a shock. You go into shock or something. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But that's probably one of the most memorable things I've performed at. I think it would be for probably anybody. I mean, to go out there and perform, you know, Grand Ole Opry.
Have you ever played at the Philadelphia Folk Festival?
You know, I was invited to it. And I went there and I performed at the party that they had and all that, you know. But I never performed on the stage there. No, I didn't.
We'll have to get your name into there.
I'd love to. I would love to. You know, I had such a wonderful time going.
We're going to hear your last two songs. Before Mark sings his last two songs, we will watch a slide here of some resources for all you songwriters out there.
Okay, these are a couple songs from my Mark Brine and his Folkabilly Bluesgrass CD. Okay? When I was young, I dreamed about how I'd grow up to be. All the things that I was so sure were ideally meant for me. Fantasizing all the time, I still can't tell apart reality and make-believe, 'cause I'm just a kid at heart. Searching for the best in life, enjoying what I find. Living out my good feeling makes me freer in my mind. Now some folks say it's immature, and some think it's an art. But I don't ever listen, 'cause I'm just a kid at heart. Yes, I guess I've always been a kid at heart. Ever since this life of mine took its early start, if God gives me tomorrow, I just hope that he'll impart that I'll still be the same old kid at heart. I never cared for money because it never cared for me. It slips right through my fingers quicker than the eyes can see. And I love all humanity. I can't tell folks apart as long as they accept that I am just a kid at heart. Yes, I guess I've always been a kid at heart. Ever since this life of mine took its early start, if God gives me tomorrow, I just hope that He'll impart that I'll still be the same old kid at heart. Yes, and I'll still be the same old kid at heart. And while we're on the Folkabilly Bluesgrass CD, let's do one more from there. I said, hey, oh, lady. I said, hey, hey, little girl, I'm just a lonely boy looking for someone to love. Just a lonely boy looking for someone to love. And I came in here while I seen that smile. Baby thought it'd like to drive me wild, 'cause I'm a lonely boy. I said, hey, hey, pretty babe, I'm just a country boy looking for a real good gal. Just a country boy looking for a real good gal. I ain't talking about one night, I'm talking life. 'Cause baby doll, I want to do this right. 'Cause I'm a country boy, just a lonely boy and a lonely girl. We can have us a time straight out of this world. If you give me a chance and let me be your man, well, I can love you, sugar, don't you understand? That I'm a lonely boy. Yeah, hey, yeah, I'm just a lonely boy. That's all. I'm just looking for someone to love. Just a lonely boy and a lonely girl. We can have us a time right out of this world. If you give me a chance to let me be your man, well, I can love you, honey, don't you understand? And I'm a lonely boy. I said, hey, yes, I'm just a lonely boy. That's all, darling.
Well, I wanted to ask you, Mark, for people that are interested in seeing where you're going to be playing, to also maybe buying some of your recordings, how might they do that?
Well, the recordings are on CD Baby, and of course, CD Baby gets them out to iTunes,
Everything.
Amazon. That's a very cool kind of thing, and they always pay you good too, which is I appreciate that. They're a good company, you know, I will mention I have books too. If you search me on, I'm an author. I have several adult level, and I say adult level, not adult, you know, meaning X or anything. But they're, you know, it takes an adult to understand. I got a children's book out that's of one of the adult ones, a children's version, and I have a new children's one that's in the process right now, coming out of series about a folk singer actually.
And what are the books called?
Well, the Book of Odes, Odes, with Factory Boy in parentheses after it. That's about growing up in Cambridge during the folk thing and all that, and it's in story form, but it's autobiographical. But you know, that's the Book of Odes, Factory Boy. Then there's another one called The Carol and the True Folk Legend of Jack Frost, which sounds like a children's work, but it's not at all. As a matter of fact, it's very deeply involved with scripture work, and but done for secular audience. You know what I mean? Like where it's entertaining. You wouldn't have to be a theologian or something. You know, I mean, I'm just saying it does kind of coincide. It's very deep work, that book. A company in California put out a children's version, so we reversed the title because it's more about Jack Frost. So it's called Jack Frost and the Carol for Kids and the Young at Heart. That's just a part of the story, the more simplified things really. And I got a new one coming out that's in the production now. It's called Vinny and Aunt Ethel. And it's A-N-T, Aunt Ethel. And they're a folk team that it's a long story that but it's artwork and stories and songs that go together.
Are these books available on like Amazon?
They the Aunt Ethel is not out yet.
The other ones.
The other ones are though.
Right.
They're out. The other ones, the previous ones, and but anyway, so that's. But of course, you were talking about records, and I didn't mean to sideline.
Oh,
I'm just saying. But yeah, if they, you know, most of my gigs I put on my Facebook page. You know, I'm kind of lazy about going to Reverb Nation. I do have.
I know what you mean. Yeah, I'm the same way.
I'm pitiful with that. But so most of the things I post are on Facebook, and you can find me. You know, if you just spell my name right, because a lot of people think Brine, Mark Brine, but it's B-R-I-N-E, like the salt. You know, and just think of the salt of the earth.
I wanted to. When you were in Boston up to age 25, were you involved in the early folk scene there, like with Tom Rush? And I guess wasn't Joan Baez originally up there?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I'm in that book, "Baby, Let Me Follow You Down," which is the illustrated history of the Cambridge folk years or something like that.
Right.
Eric Von Schmidt and Jim Rooney wrote it. There's a lot of pictures of Bob Dylan and up there, but I'm in there as in the audience. Okay, I'm not one of the artists. But I was in bands then and stuff, and I was a member of the Club 47 at 13 years old, and I went to a lot of those folk events and all that. And of course, I was very interested in blues then too, really big on blues, and they had everything there. That was a great scene.
I bet.
You know, and I'll be honest with you. In the Book of Odes, that's kind of what it goes through from 1966 to about 69, and it brings into the rock music with Hendrix and all that happened in the Summer of Love and all that. But you know, but I start out with the before that happened, which was a little bit different scene. It was much. Well, you're a youngster, you wouldn't remember, but I mean. You know, it was a kind of beatnik thing before, a beat generation, you know.
Before that, right.
And I loved that. Actually, I like that better than I did like what it turned into. But that's what that book's about. So if people like to know about that, what it was really like then, it's that book will do it.
Okay. Mark Brine, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me,
It was
Ray.
great to hear your stories and also to hear
thank
your
you so
songs.
Thank you, sir. I'm really proud to be on this.
So, we'll see you in about 2 weeks. Again, our guest will be Norman Taylor. See you then.